Chair, ladies and gentlemen, I think this would be a good time to associate with the people in the room. I mean, I too celebrate when Yossi Benayoun scores a goal. I too cheered in 1998 when Dan International took the Euro. I relate to small countries beginning with I. We are but peas in a pod against the English oppressor. When I grew up and went to school in the Catholic University School, I realised that when I left school, the religion still existed because it exists in here and in here. But more importantly, what has this debate been about from this side of the house? Well, first of all, we wanted to talk about the legitimacy of war and how war is a very horrible place and horrible things happen. But we think when you try and put a quantifiable notion of what legitimacy is, we think it's extremely hard to do. We think it's in some cases arbitrary. Secondly, we want to look at effectiveness and the end goal, which we see as being the most important thing in this regard. And then thirdly and finally, how the consequences outweigh the benefits. Okay, first of all, war is horrible. Okay, these are things and acts that are happening in the midst of something that's horrifically bad, horrific acts. We say, what is legitimate is what best achieves the end goal. We see the end goal as ending the loss of life. We think that's legitimate. No thanks. We say what this proposition had to prove was why religion was more important than every other aspect of human life, or say family, or different examples of things like that. We'd say, first of all, there are certain monuments in countries that do mean that much to people. Maybe Ireland's GPO means that much to people. Maybe, if that was blown up tomorrow, it would mean that much to us significantly. Maybe we would care that much. Why is that legitimate in a course of war? No thanks. We'd say 9/11 meant that much to people. If the White House was blown up, it would mean that much to people. No thank you. Okay, what have we got from the opposing side of the house? No thanks. Well, the first thing we got was, this makes people retaliate. No thanks. This makes people retaliate. We'd say, first of all, in what situation of war ever do the two opposing sides not hate each other anyway? You're not creating more hate, no thanks. You're not creating more aggression. This exists regardless. We think we gave you the example where in Japan, people were in a situation where they were so demoralized that war was no longer an option for them. These were single acts that were so devastating to the country as a whole that had that effect upon them. We say, thirdly, though, we are not saying this is our solution for every single situation. We are saying this is an option. Right? Shane, we give examples of where this doesn't work. We say that's fine. We're not saying every circumstance that we're going to take a piss on neck or whatever. We're saying we could use this as an option, and if it ended life, if it ended the loss of life, sorry, it would be legitimate. Okay. We got this idea that it's worse than taking away food because religion means so much to these people. We'd say, first of all, maybe if we blew up Mecca, Muhammad might understand that it wasn't your fault, and you might avoid your stint in hell. Okay? Sorry. No thank you. Right? No. Like, we had this idea that, like, can you imagine asking a soldier to do these kind of things? Like, can you imagine asking a soldier to kill a man? To stick a bayonet in some guy's face? Like, is that worse? Is that different? No. No thank you. Like, we had these ideas like, soldiers can only do these things in combat. We say, when you're in war, you're always in combat. You're always looking out for these things. This is a war situation. No thank you. We know that religion means a lot to people. We say, if Mecca was if Mecca was lost tomorrow because of an earthquake, would that stop people being religious? Would that mean people kind of went, all right, well, that was a good laugh, let's try Christianity? Like, we even saw, they mentioned the cartoons in Denmark. We say this didn't stop people practicing their religion or still being religious. We say, yes, they're reacting because it's a relatively small act. We say if it was something like, you know, attacking Mecca, it's a lot bigger, but the point is it means something to people. We think it affects them in that regard. No thanks. You actually asked me, like you said, is it okay to blow up orphanages or not? We said, the point is, when the end goal is minimizing the loss of life, then maybe it could be legitimate. That is what we're trying to aspire to, and that is what we're trying to prove.
Point of information?
No thank you. Alright. What have myself and Susan talked about in this debate? First of all, we talked about what is legitimacy and when it doesn't actually occur. We think because this line is in some cases arbitrary, because we don't know on which side of the line some things fall, we think the only achievable thing that you can actually say, the only end goal you can put on it, is what you're trying to achieve in the end. We think this is an example of something that could be used in that regard. Okay, I'll take one of you. Go on.
By your stance, it's okay to murder and rape babies if it's effective in war. Is that your moral stance, and how is this consistent with what First Drop told us?
Look. The point is, right, we are trying to end the loss of life. We think doing this to a religious site that means so much to people can affect their morale to that regard that they surrender, or even the threat itself might be enough. We think if that was the case, and we think we could quantifiably work out that would be the situation, then we think that's a circumstance where that's legitimate. And that's the second idea that we brought to you from this proposition. We said that this kind of threat and this kind of situation affects the population as a whole. Because it means so much to them, it means that they can't fight anymore. They can't react anymore. They're demoralized, they're down. It means something to them. We know how much symbolic gestures and acts of this mean to people. We know that Churchill's words alone kept Britain fighting in the war. No one is denying the significance of symbols and gestures to people's morale. The point we make is that the whole point is we are trying to keep people alive. We'd say when somebody's son is killed, when somebody's family member is out fighting, that can affect them as much. Their family member can be killed in a legitimate war. Why is that different? Why can't someone have their family as their religion? If their family member be killed in war, why can't their religion be damaged and not even removed? Because it's not something you can remove. Okay? This debate is about the people and what we do to end the loss of life. And for those reasons, myself and Susan need to propose.